I would choose the day that there's a big event at the river. All right. Hi folks, it's Switchback. In this video today, I am going to show you my strategy for filling my water bladder inside of my backpack without taking it out. I personally do this using a Sawyer filter, and what's really nice with this is that I can connect the hose right on the end of it, and I will show you how I do that. I also use a CNOC bladder, and I've attached a carabiner to it, and I will show you why in a moment. I like to carry a bandana. I use hand sanitizer, and then I personally have an Osprey bladder. This could be done using a Sawyer bag, however, they suck, so I don't use them. Again, I use the CNOC bladder here, so before you get started with filling it, make sure that you close up the bottom. And if there is a lot of silt in the water or any kind of sediment, I like to use a bandana over the opening to get the big stuff out. One of the reasons I really like these CNOC bladders is just how big this opening is. It makes life so much easier, and it closes the same way as an Osprey bladder. I'm gonna start filling up the CNOC bladder here. And there is quite a bit of silt along the bottom of this river, so first pass or two, it'll probably be fine. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the bandana over it so that I filter out the big stuff. And it does take a few more passes when I have the bandana on there, especially before it gets wet, but it also keeps me from having to clean my filter as much. If you can, try to get away from the edge like this. If you can climb out onto a rock or something else, but that isn't always a possibility. I don't mind leaving a little air in there. It just makes it a little easier for squeezing at the end. And then this one has a little slide across the top, just like an Osprey bladder does. Next, I'm gonna dry the big stuff off the outside here so that I don't risk contaminating my water with the dirty water. It does not take much to get Giardia. From here, I will open up the bottom. Notice I've got the bladder upside down here, and then I'm gonna connect the dirty end here, like so. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my mouthpiece. So on this one, this is the Osprey bladder, and I bought an extra cap to protect the mouthpiece, which I find very helpful. When I pull off the mouthpiece, I put it inside of this cap to keep it protected. It also has a magnet on it, so that's nice for connecting it to your chest strap. So I move those both down a bit like so. And this is where having hand sanitizer is very helpful because I'm gonna be putting my hand right on that mouthpiece. So I want my mouthpiece to stay clean. So the next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and pull off that mouthpiece. And you know, my bladder, I've done this a few times. You may get more resistance than that when you first start trying to do this. And then I just connect the hose directly onto the outspout. Go ahead and flip it upside down. And you can see the water is starting to flow. Sometimes I'll give it a little squeeze to kind of help it along. And then I can usually find somewhere to hang it and let gravity work its magic. You'll want to keep the bladder higher than your pack because this all does work on gravity. So even at this angle, it's going to slow it down a bit. When you're done, you're gonna do everything in reverse. So you'll flip your filter upside down. If the bladder inside your pack is extremely full, there may be pressure pushing out the water, so I'll plug it with my tongue when I do that. Like so. And then I can just connect it back with the mouthpiece, push it in,